How do you keep a microservices architecture organized and scalable over time?
Yeah, so the key when orchestrating microservices is to make sure that they can communicate efficiently with each other. By that I mean you want to think about, okay, how do they pass messages along to each other? This could be, for example, HTTP requests. It could also be meaning that you maybe use like a queue, you have like a Kafka queue, or use a service like Redis, and then each of the services can dispatch messages on this queue, and then the other messages can pull those messages. So the trade-off here is that an HTTP request always forces an answer, versus the requests via the queue allow the messages to pull in the next piece of data when they're done with something. And this can usually be the better thing, like when you let the service itself decide when it needs to process the next piece of data. Because when you always push stuff, they might need to interrupt their flow, right? Especially if they're doing like a long running task. Obviously, the problem with that is also the synchronicity, right? Because sometimes services need to maybe react to the same message at the same time. So another concern is also, where do those microservices live? So you need to make sure that they are maybe co-located physically, meaning that if you're deploying something worldwide, all of those microservices that need to work together for a specific region should also live in the same data center. And then if you need even more and an even more direct communication channel between those microservices, it can make sense to integrate them in a virtual private network, in a VPN, which basically means that they have specific cables between each other for even faster communication, so they don't need to go through the general data center communication. But yeah, in general, when you build microservices, you definitely want to make sure that there's an efficient way that they can communicate with each other.